Good morning, student. Today we will start our chapter first from the geography book, that is resources and development. This is belong from the NCERT book. So we will start our first topic, that is resources. First of all, I will explain to you what is the meaning of resources. Everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs, provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible and culturally acceptable, can be termed as resources. It means everything that is satisfied our needs is called resources. The resources can be classified in the following ways. So first of all, I will explain to you the different types of resources on the basis of origin. On the basis of origin, we will classify the resources into two types, biotic and abiotic. So first of all, I will explain to you what is biotic resources. These are obtained from biosphere and have life, such as human beings, flora, fauna, fishes, livestock, etc. It means we can say that biotic resources are those resources they have life. It means we can say that, simply we can say that biotic resources are those resources they have life. They are living things. They are natural things, they are natural resources and as well as they are living. So these are the biotic resources. Some example of the biotic resources are human being as well as flora and fauna. So these are the biotic resources. Second resources, that is the abiotic resources. Abiotic resources, it means all those things which are composed of non-living. Just note it down the point, non-living. It means we can differentiate also the biotic and the abiotic resources. Biotic resources, that means they are from the living side, and abiotic resources from the non-living side. It means the components that are natural but non-living. These are called the abiotic resources. For example, rock and minerals. Now our second classification is on the basis of exhaustibility. On the basis of exhaustibility also we can divide the resources into two types. First one, that is the renewable, second one, that is the non-renewable. First of all, I will explain what is renewable resources. Renewable resources, it means by name it is just clear that renewable. It means again we can just regenerate it. Okay, so the resources which can be renewed are be produced by physical, chemical or mechanical process are known as renewable resources. For example, solar, wind energy, water, forest, wildlife. It means we can see that we can say that resources are continuous. It means human beings are not interfere to renew it. They just renew automatically. They just renew. Forest. Once forests are cut down, again after some year, again it will regenerate. Water, again you know that with the help of water cycle, water again regenerated. Solar energy, wind energy. So we can say that these are the renewable resources. And second type of resources, that is the non-renewable resources. This occur over a very long geological time. Just note it down. This definitely they are also the natural resources. Human cannot interfere it, but they occur over a long geological time. It means millions of years ago. It means formation of these resources take millions of years. Minerals, fossil fuels are example of such resources. These resources take millions of years in their formation. It means in our single lifetime we cannot see to regenerate this type of resources. They are take millions of years. Some of the resources like metals are recycled and some like fossil fuels cannot be recycled. It means once if I'll just give the example to you, the petrol. If we just use the petrol, diesel, so once if we use these resources, we cannot regenerate it by our own. So it means we can see that they are exhaustible in nature. Once if we use these resources, they are finished. So these are our two types of resources, renewable and non-renewable. The differentiate, it means they can regenerate by their own and also they can also regenerate by their own, but non-renewable resources take millions of years to their formation. Okay, so now our third classification, that is on the basis of ownership. On the basis of ownership, honor, it means we are the owner of anything. So honor, that is my honor. So on the basis of ownership, we can classify the resources into four types. First one, that is individual, second community, third national, and fourth international. Now I will explain one by one to you all four types of resources. First one, that is the individual resources. Individual resources, we can say that our personally owned resources. So these are also owned privately by individual. Many farmers, you can see in the village area, many farmers, they have their own land which is allotted to them by the government, and these are their private property. And in urban areas also we can see that I can just give two example to you, that you have your own house, your own plot, that is your own building. That this all the example of the individual resources. It means these are our personal property. So individual resources, it means some of the example of the resources ownership by individual. So you can also make a list of the individual resources like your own building, your own garden, your own plot, your own land. These are the example of the individual resources. Now our second resources, that is the community. Community resources, community owned resources. So community owned resources which are accessible to all the member of the community. It means not a single person can claim that these are my personal resources. Community owned resources, it means whole community can utilize these resources. So these are known as the community owned resources. Like in a village area, we can give the example of the village area like grazing grounds, burial grounds, village ponds. It means all the community utilize it resources. These are the community resources. And in the urban areas, you can see so many public parks are there, picnic spots are there, playgrounds are there, and whole community are utilized. So these resources, that means whole community use these resources. This is known as the community owned resources. Now our third resources, that is the national resources. National resources, definitely we can say that all the resources are the we can say that all the resources are the national resources. However, they are your personal resources, but then also that is the national resources, but government here gives some we can say that government here gives some strategy to you that this is your personal resources, but if whenever government want, he can just capture. So national resources, technically all the resources belong to the nation. The country has legal power to acquire even private property for public goods. It means sometimes you can see that when government want to create any dam on any area, and suppose your field or your house under this area, so definitely government will give some money to you, and government can acquire this area. So we can say that all the resources are government resources, they are the national resources. So these resources, it means all the resources are known as the national resources. It means we can see the example of all the minerals, all the water resources, forest, wildlife, land within political boundaries. This all the resources are known as the national resources. Now our fourth type, that is the international resources. International resources, it means by name it is clear, beyond the nation. So these are the international institution which regulates some resources. It means we can see that the oceans, when the ocean cross the boundary of so many countries, so we can say that is the international resources. It means more than 2 countries utilize these resources. So these are known as the international resources. Now our fourth classification is on the basis of status of development. So on the basis of status of development, we can classify the resources into types, that is potential resources, developed resources, stock and reserve, also some different terms, but I will explain to you one by one. So first of all, I will explain to you potential resources. Potential resources, which resources are found in the region but have not been utilized. It means definitely we have these resources but we are not utilized these resources. For example, the western part of India, particularly Rajasthan and Gujarat, have number of potential for the development of wind and solar energy. But we human beings, we don't have the technology to utilize these resources. But maybe after some years, human beings have developed and we have the, it means after some years, we will have the technology to utilize these resources. It means right now in present, we are not utilizing it. But in future, definitely will utilize these resources. It means potential. So in future we will utilize these resources. This resources is known as the potential resources. Now this next, that is the developed resources. Developed resources, it means just we can say that the opposite of the potential resources. Developed, already developed, because so many times in classroom also I have explained to you developing countries and the developed country. You know that na, developing and developed. Developing it means in process and developed it means already developed. So developed resources which surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilizing. It means developed resources, it means the resources which we are already utilized it. It means we know the coal mines in India, the iron stock of India, and we are already utilizing. We know the how many amount of coal in that mine, these mines, how many quality of the coal. So it means we are already know about this developed resources and we are utilizing it. So you can see the difference between the potential resources and the developed resources. It means in future we will utilize it, and developed resources, it means presently we are utilizing these resources. These are the developed resources. The developed resources depend on the technology and level of the facility. It means we have the technology to utilizing it. So these are the developed resources. Now two more terms are there, that is the stock and the reserve. If you first you will see this stock and reserve. So you can see that very minor difference between the stock and reserve. Okay, because if once you will see in a broad manner, so you will see that stock and reserve are both are the similar term. But then also some minor difference between stock and the reserves. So first we will explain the stock. Material in the environment which have the potential to satisfy human need, but human beings do not have the appropriate technology to assess this. It means we can say that these are related to the potential. It means human beings do not have the appropriate technology to assess this. These are the terms stock. For example, we can say that water is a component of two gases. You know that na? In science you will already read that water is a mixture of two gases. Okay, and that is hydrogen and oxygen, and which can be used as a rich source of energy. But we don't know have the required technology that how no we use them for this purpose. It means with the help of two gases we cannot make the water by their own. So this is the stock. So this we can consider as a stock. And second, that is the reserves. So reserve are the subset of the stock. It means it is also related to the stock, and which can put into use with the help of technology. It means with the help of, these are related with the developed resources. It means with the help of technology we are utilizing it. So I am just giving the example to you that river water. You know that river water can be used for generating hydroelectricity. You know that no? With the help of river water we can generate hydroelectricity. So now we have technology to utilize these resources. So these are known as the reserves. It is being utilized only to a limited extent. So in the water, in the dams, forest, etc. And these reserves which can be used in the future also, because we have the technology that how we will just utilize this water. So these are known as the reserves. So the student, I think you get all the points that I explained to you on the basis of origin, that is biotic and abiotic resources, on the basis of exhaustibility, renewable and non-renewable resources, on the basis of ownership, individual resources, community owned resources, national resources and international resources. and on the basis of status of development, potential resources, developed resources, stock and reserves. So I hope you get all the points which I have explained to you. So just go through these points once again. I have given the PDF also to your textbook, and with the help of this PDF you can see the points in the book also, and just go through this video and go through the chapter, and very soon we'll meet again. Thank you.